Welcome to the Bree Pod. I'm here with Jay Hilaire, real estate investor and entrepreneur. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Brianna. How are you? Glad to be here.
Good. I'm glad to have you here. I wanted to share a little bit of a background on how I first met you. I met you through my parents because you went to school with my dad, and we were neighbors for a little bit of time there.
Hmm.
Um, and we have even worked on some projects together for your business.
Absolutely.
Um, so, as you know, I've told you this before, I've always felt that you have been a mentor to me. So, I wanted to bring you onto the podcast and share your insight, share your story. So, how did you get into real estate and becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you saying that from us speaking together and doing projects together, that you consider me, a mentor of yours. And I want to say that I know you're an active learner. That's what kind of reminds me of myself. You always want to learn. So that's a good trait to have. And I enjoyed working with you. Um, I back myself in 2009 is when I started in my real estate business. Way back, if I go way back when I was 21 years old, I started building houses. Learned it from my dad, and started our own construction business. But that was leading up to the real estate. But I always wanted to learn how to build houses and do construction. So we started our own business, and through the years, all the way through the years since I was 21. All the way up until 2009, I was building houses for other people, and making an hourly wage or a project wage. You bid on a project and you get paid. But I looked around and I seen, and from the books I read and from my own life experiences from seeing other people, they were making more money by selling a house or real estate. I just knew that real estate was where people seemed to me that they got wealthy when they got into the real estate. So that's basically how it intrigued my interest in real estate to learn it. Aside from the fact that as we go on further, I'll talk about how a book for an infomercial triggered my whole real estate career.
That's awesome. Um, and what book was that?
uh, the the very first book was 30 Days to Cash with my mentor now became my mentor after reading the book, Dean Graziosi from Arizona. He's originally from Marlboro, New York, but he's currently and been in Arizona for quite a few years. I read his book and talked about real estate, how to buy real estate. I mean, there was a number of books, but that was, I think, the first book. And there's 4 or 5 other books that he wrote that inspired me. And he's actually put me in a few of his books. So I've had the opportunity to become one of his students, and he's flown me to Arizona many times, and I got to be on commercials with him, and got to get on stage and be one of his teachers of what he taught me. So I have become a mentor to other students because of him. So
Wow.
it's pretty exciting. Like I said, since 2009, I bought his book. I seen him on an infomercial, like at 2 or 3 in the morning. Couldn't sleep at night, just watching TV, and I see this little Italian guy on TV talking about real estate, how you can buy properties with no money down. And I'm like, wow. I mean, everybody wants to do that, but um, we can get more into that. But that's basically how I got into wanted to be a real estate investor. I was building houses up to that point, and I kept building houses. I still build houses, but I wanted to figure out a way. I was always looking for a way to, and that's what brought. I mean, if you're always looking for something, if you're looking to get better at something or find a way to, my thought process was, I'm not afraid to work hard. I want to find a way to make more money and do less.
Yeah.
Not because I'm lazy, but because I wanted to make better use of my time and resources. And let's face it, everybody's getting older, so you do less and less as you get older.
Definitely. Uh, and so, like, what are some of the misconceptions or mistakes you've seen being a real estate investor and entrepreneur?
Some of the misconceptions,
Yeah, misconceptions or mistakes.
mistakes, misconceptions. I think. I from talking to many students around the United States. I used to have to, when I would meet them, I would have to ask them a certain bunch of questions. It's kind of like you asking me questions. Some of them were, what kind of mistakes did have they made? And they would ask me. And it seems a common thread is the belief in ourselves that we can't do something. And I don't know if we're born with that or what, but we always think that we're not as good as what we really are. And it's not the case. It's really not the case. You think it is, but once you start doing things, and as you build confidence doing them, you find out that you're capable of so much more than what you are. But some of the mistakes that I think people make, the majority of people, from talking to them and experiencing it myself, is you don't give yourself as much credit. You think you can't do it. You think you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not tall enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not strong enough. There's so many things that I don't know if we were brought up, taught that, and it's ingrained in us, or if it's just something we're born with and everybody has to overcome, because it seems everybody feels that way. But that's one of the misconceptions and mistakes. And you come to find out as you do more and more of what you love, or whatever your passion is, or your your business, or whatever you're doing that you put your whole heart and soul into, you find out the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more confidence you get, and it just builds like a snowball. And you really actually end up teaching yourself that you're a lot better than what you thought you were. And through the process, it just reinvents what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's one. And I'm sure you've seen it from talking to, that I would think that'd be a common thread.
Yeah,
But,
no, it is.
Yeah. And the other misconception is you have to do things on your own. And you really don't, because there's so many people out there. If you just open your eyes or do your own research, or just start looking around, there's so many people that are doing what you want to do. With the internet, you can find anybody. But what you don't realize is there's so many people that want to teach or show somebody what they know and what they have learned, because honestly, I mean, who wants to leave this world without sharing their knowledge or leaving their legacy or just helping somebody? Everybody wants to help somebody else. And, if you look at yourself, no matter what you've done, if you really ask the questions of yourself, how can I help somebody else? And what that the other misconception is you don't think you know enough, but in reality, you really know a lot. You're always one step ahead of somebody else, or 1 week ahead, or 1 month ahead, or 1 year ahead. And so everybody that's behind you, I've learned this from my mentor, everybody that's behind you has a thirst for the knowledge that you have, and yet you think you don't know enough, but you're always one chapter ahead of somebody. So those are the people that yearn to learn from you. And I think there's actually a meme I think you even made for me one time, and it talks about the meme. It's about you don't know it, but there's so many people that want to learn from you. To something to that effect. I remember. I'll have to find it, because I think you made it for me. And
Yeah,
that one always sticks in my mind. But there's many misconceptions, many lessons. I know in real estate, one major one is always do your due diligence. If you're going to buy a property, if we're talking about buying and selling a property, not building one, but buying it to sell, your due diligence when you go look at a property. A lot of people just starting out think that they don't have to do that, or they think it's also it's so easy to do. Because when people just taking, for instance, buying and selling real estate, the people who do it that have studied it for a long time and have done it make it look easy sometimes, because people think that they can jump right in and do it. You can't, but yet in another sense you can if you have a mentor. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, I guess you could say. Don't think you can go right in and do it, but don't think you can't go right in and do it. And as I explained, with a mentor, you can go right in and do it with help. I mean, you can do it without a mentor too, but as I've learned from my mentor, you can shave years off if you talking to a mentor for one day. You could save years of headache.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of mistakes that I made. Another major mistake I made was I didn't think I needed a mentor. I read my mentor's book, and I actually did I don't know how many deals just by reading his book. So, that's okay. You can, but if you get into if you're using somebody else's money or your money that you don't have, or the bank's money, it could get very expensive. So you kind of do the small things without the mentor first. And then if you're going to get into something that may hurt your family or bankrupt you, or, most people know how far they could go without taking that real big risk. It's a good thing to get a mentor.
And speaking of mentorship, you actually wrote a book for rent owners.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you shared a lot of helpful information to help people that were looking into that. And I guess, can you help explain what rent to own is?
Yeah, that's the strategy that there's many strategies in real estate. There's so many strategies that you can use to profit in real estate or to invest in real estate. And rent to own is one of them. That's the one that I become an expert at, because there's a number of reasons I can tell you why, but that was the easiest for me. And in my area, that's just something I studied from some people that were around here. When I was younger, I wanted to get in before I even had a mentor. I bought a piece of property in a rent to own, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I could give a small down payment. That was the only way I could own something. So that's what intrigued me to get into the rent to own, or in other words, it's called the land contract. That strategy, because more people that didn't have a lot of money could use that strategy. So I wrote a book about it. Aside from doing many deals with that strategy, and my book is called "Stop Renting, Be a Homeowner Now." I became a self-published author. I think it was 2010 or 11, and sold a few books. I mean, I'm not getting rich off it, but it gets the word out. I actually teach people how to do a rent to own, what it is, and kind of my story and how to do things, where to go to get information, and all the things that are involved with a rent to own. But it was a pretty neat experience. The reason I got to write it was because of what I learned from my mentor. It gave me the courage, and I'll be honest, I barely passed. Well, I passed it in English class, but I wasn't the greatest writer. So, I mean, that shows you that anybody, if I can write a book, anybody can write a book.
That's awesome. I love that. Um, so with that being said, what are you currently working on?
As you know, maybe others don't. I still have a full-time job. Also, I work full-time and I do real estate investing. Built houses from the ground up with my father. I learned it from my dad when I was 21. We've been building houses. We usually build a house. I've been building houses since I was 21 years old. Like I said, we probably built, I know my wife and myself, we build a house every couple of years, live in it, sell it. So we've built many houses since we were 21 years old, not only for us, but for other people. Currently, we just got done building this house and just finished it. Built the house last year across the road for my son. And we had our first granddaughter, my son and daughter-in-law, and we just had our first granddaughter. So I'm excited about that. I think we're going to stay here now because we don't want to build and move again because our grandchild's here and my son and daughter-in-law is right across the road. But currently we're doing fix and flips right now and rent to owns. We just finished up a fix and flip probably about 2 weeks ago, and that one's on the market. And we're always we just bought a place for my mom and remodeled that. We always got something going on. We're always looking. We make multiple offers every day, and we have rent to owns available at most of any time during the year. If we can buy them as fast as, we got a lot of buyers right now, but it's funny because the real estate market, it goes up and down. Like sometimes we have plenty of houses, but no buyers. But right now there's plenty of buyers and we don't have houses. We make multiple offers every day, and we're just hoping to get more houses because we have so many buyers that are looking for houses from us.
Wow, that's awesome. And congratulations on your granddaughter.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
we're pretty
can't
excited.
believe that you're it's kind of a shock just knowing you guys and who you are, that you guys are not gonna move anymore.
Yeah, I don't think we are. We bought 25 acres right here, and there's plenty more room to build more houses, but I don't think we're gonna. I don't think we are. Or I don't know. You never know. I don't think we are. If we do, it'll be right next door, so we won't be too far from our granddaughter.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so what advice would you give? I kind of want to do this a two-part question, but like what advice would you give from the perspective of people that are starting their own business, whether it be real estate or really any business? What advice could you give them if they're unsure of, what to do?
First of all, I would make sure that you put some research in it and make sure that what passion you wanted to go for is that, you don't want to start it and then get back out of it and get back in it. That was one of the things I used to do. And if you do it, that's fine. But if you can prepare before you start your passion and really know that you want to do that, if you really know, then I would find a mentor. I would buy every book I could buy on that subject or on that passion that you're going to take up. Buy every book, read as much as you can on that subject so you can become an expert yourself at it. I mean, you won't consider yourself an expert, but if you read 10, 12 books, you're more of an expert than anybody that hasn't. And I would definitely find a mentor because, as in multiple mentors, if you want, the more, anything you can learn from a mentor. What my mentor always taught us is you're paying, if you have to pay for a mentor, you're paying for speed because you're learning something in a day or a week or a lot sooner than, using your experience. And then even though trying and failing is experience, and you don't get experience without failing, you can make the shortcut with a mentor really fast. And I have a lot of my own analogies, but the one that sticks in my mind, because my mom and my grandma cook all the time and they're really good, they're good cooks. I used my mentor's analogy of if you want to cook spaghetti sauce or any recipe, what my mentor did is went to the restaurant and caught the chef coming out the back door when he went home at night, and he gave him $100 for his spaghetti recipe sauce. And he got it. So he didn't have to, make it and tweak it and make it. And he paid. So say the chef was his mentor, which he wasn't, but he paid him $100 for his spaghetti sauce recipe, went home and he had, the best recipe. So that's what a mentor can do. That's what you get when you pay for speed. That's what, that's what you're taking a shortcut. Another analogy you said was if you want to get to the top of the mountain and there's all kinds of paths. If your mentor already took a path, a shortcut, he already knows it, he's going to tell you the secret. So everybody else, if you're in a race or whatever and you're trying to get to the top of the hill, everybody's going different directions, but he tells you to go, hey, go up here 10 steps, take a left, go across that little bridge, look to your right, and you're going to see 3 red ribbons. Them ribbons will bring you all the way to the top. So, things like that will give you the fast track to success if you want them.
That's awesome. I love the analogies. I think they're
Yeah.
they're cool.
Yeah, I could talk all day on, because that's what he taught me too, is when you're teaching students or you're teaching somebody, use analogies like that. Because I mean, for me, that brings it home for me. I'm kind of, I don't want to say simple, but I that's the way I learn. I learn by doing, and I learn by the simple things, by explaining something. Sometimes they got to explain it to me over and over. So the analogies help me.
That's great. So then for my second part of that question, if present Jay St. Hilaire could go back to young Jay St. Hilaire, knowing what you know now with your mentorship, with real estate investing, what advice would you give that younger Jay?
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty fortunate because when I was younger, I had a yearning to learn. And I had 2 mentors. I had my dad and my grandfather. Actually, I had more mentors, but those 2 people, I spent a lot of time around learning. My dad, construction, and my grandfather, mechanics. So, and I actually at night, even I would do both. And I want to say listen more, but I think I listened pretty good, even though I didn't act like I did back, like I listened, but I really did listen. It's hard when you're younger, even when you're older, sometimes I guess patience. Patience would be a really big advice, because at least I know when you're younger, you want things right now, today. So immediate gratification. And you got to give yourself time to learn, give yourself time to implement. And even when you're listening to somebody or learning something from somebody, or they tell you, sometimes you think, well, that's probably not right, or you don't, you're not sure. But over time, with patience, you come to realize that no matter what kind of advice you get, it's all good advice, whether it's good or bad. I mean, bad advice could teach you, if you did it and you failed at it, you're going to fix it. And if they give you good advice, then it's good and you'll keep doing it. So either way, I guess, instead of looking at something negative where you got bad advice, because nobody's perfect, and some things work, some things don't. Everybody does things different. And if you do something that you got advice from just a little bit different, you could blame it on your mentor, when in actuality, you might have missed something, a step or something that they told you on what to do. So just don't beat yourself up. Patience, listen more, keep moving forward. And I want to say a quote, but it's not really, it doesn't pertain to, it just sticks in my mind because I've never went through hell, but I can't remember who said it, but they said, when you're going through hell, if you're ever going through hell, keep going. But it just means don't stop. Just keep going. Keep having patience. You'll get there. Keep learning. Keep implementing. So I guess that would be my advice.
Thank you for that. That's definitely appreciated. Um, and I'm so glad that you came on here with me today. Um, can you share some of your platforms so that people can either follow your journey with real estate, where can they find you?
Sure. As I told you a little earlier, I used to, like a year and a half ago, before I started building this house, it was a pretty big project, this house and my boy's house, plus working full time, plus doing fix and flips and all that stuff. I packed all my, I haven't been as active in my online course. I have an online course called Dream Home Academy, and I teach people how to buy a rent-own home, how to be an investor like I am, and dabble in, in rent-own homes and fix and flips and that. And with my book, and I was into a lot of different groups. I'm in the real estate den. I mentor students in my course and all that stuff. Like right now, I'm actively doing fix and flips. We just finished one. We're making offers right as we speak on more properties because we're going to do another fix and flip. My platform is jsthilaire.com. That's my website. And if you go on my website, you can learn all about me and learn what I've been doing. But right now, I'm actively doing fix and flips and rent to own property. So I live in Brushton, New York. I'm sure a lot of people will be listening to this podcast from all over the place, different states even, and everywhere. But I'm in New York, upstate New York. I'm looking for, I work with a lot of investors that want to buy properties from me, or I can help you find a property. I can mentor you. Just go to my website, jsthilaire.com. Check out my book. If you want to know anything about me, go on Google. Google my name. That'll tell you everything. There's plenty on there to find out what I do, how I do it, where you can reach me. But normally, if you want to send me an email, it's jbtoggs@yahoo.com, jbtoggs@yahoo.com. Send me a question. Send me, anything you want to ask me. I'm always willing to help other investors or help people that are just starting their business. Because I like to share my knowledge. I have no problem, and even if you're just starting up, I can learn from you. I've learned more from my students than ever. You're always learning, and if you can always keep that at the forefront, no matter how much experience you have, how old you get, it doesn't matter. If you always keep learning, especially with people like yourself, Brianna. You're younger than I am, and you see technology sooner than I do. There's new technology that comes up. I normally keep up to date with it, but sometimes I get so busy doing all my passions that I don't have time for the new technology. So, speaking with you on this podcast sometime, or how we communicate in different arenas, I always learn something new from everybody. So thank you for that too, because I know working with you in many different aspects, I've learned a lot from you. Just talking back and forth with questions and through our marketing that we were doing and getting on Instagram and all that. It excites me to learn from people. So yeah, jsthilaire.com, jbtoggs@yahoo.com. My book is Stop Renting to Be a Homeowner Now. Just go Google my name and look around, see if there's anything I can help you with, or if you want to invest with me, if you want to learn investing, if you want to buy a house from me, if you in any capacity that you want to connect with me, I'm always willing to collaborate. We form groups sometimes, many groups that real estate investing groups that I'm in, and we're always starting new ones, always jumping from one to the other to learn from each other. So just connect with me anyway, as we just mentioned.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And hopefully you'll come back on the podcast and give us an update on where you're at with all your ventures.
Sure. Next time, maybe we can get more into depth about how I learned from my mentor and some exciting things. We could talk about he has a lot of live big events. That's I recommend that you check out my mentor too. And as you know, we talked about a little while ago. Anybody that knows Tony Robbins, he's one of the people that I've learned from also. And Dean Graziosi, my mentor, and Tony Robbins, they're working together right now on a number of projects. And there's some heavy hitters. Them guys really inspired massive people. And I'm blessed to have found Dean and became one of his, at that time beginning, I was one of his top students. And now he's got some students that have skyrocketed that are multi millionaires. from real estate. So I'm not that big, but I've certainly learned a lot of things from him and grateful for it.
Hey, you could be. You could be that big.
Well, I keep plugging.
Yeah,
I keep going.
definitely.
We're all definitely capable of it. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Uh, absolutely. It's a matter of how far you want to push yourself.
Yeah.
That's
And
you know,
like,
I sorry to interrupt you, but one
no,
thing
no.
that came to my mind, and I could talk all night with you, but one of the other pieces of advice I would say is don't keep this sticks in my mind too. This really held me back. Don't keep even though you live in a small town, I consider our town pretty small.
Yeah.
Don't keep a small town mind. Because when I got out of this town and went to Arizona and started learning from him, I got out of the small town, but I got out of my small mind. It opened up so many horizons that I didn't realize what I could do, and that's what I want to impress upon people, that don't keep a small town mind. Get into a big town mind, and do what you're capable of doing. Push yourself.
Yeah, I like that a lot, especially from where we are from, where we reside
Yeah,
from. It's so small, but it's so true. We really have to not let that be like the barrier that for our success.
absolutely.
Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on, and you're going to have to come back. Now it's just like gonna have to be written in stone that you're coming back.
Absolutely. I'd be glad to. Let me know.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, Jay. Before we go, I'm going to share the affirmations, which are actually brought to you by our memes that we created and for Jay St. Hilaire's Facebook page. So, as many of you know, or if you're just joining us, pick a number between 1 and 3, and then whichever number resonates with you, that affirmation will be what connects to you. So, for those of you that chose number 1, if opportunity doesn't knock, then build a door. For those of you that chose number 2, your affirmation is a setback is a setup for a comeback. And then for those of you that chose number 3, nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. With that being said, you are loved, you are worthy, you are cherished, and I am proud of you. Until next time on the Bree Pod. Bye.
Thanks, Brianna. Appreciate it.
Thank you.